pretty neat. This is very, very cool. Hey guys, this is Joe Tech from JoeteckTips on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and today we have a really cool how-to product. It's a VOGURTIME piano kit, and today we're going to show you how to build it. Verbatim, show you all the parts and everything. Let's get to it. So this is the board, okay, and we want to get started on these components. Okay, so what we're going to be working on and concentrating on is all these components right here. Resistors, capacitors, and whatnot. And I'm going to tell you what to do and where to put them. Okay, so everything is in perfect order. Capacitor C2 is 224, and it's actually labeled, the capacitor actually says 224 right on it. So we want to throw that baby right here. Okay. Make sure your iron is nice and hot and ready to go for this project. And by the way, be very careful of these two ICs that are pre-installed, okay? Be very careful that you don't go near them, because if you damage these with your iron or slip accidentally, you could damage your piano kit, and that would be very bad. Very bad. Well, we could do the LED. Let's do the LED. Make sure that you have the correct polarity, because there is polarity. Make sure the flat part of the LED is facing towards you. So the long lead towards the back, the short lead towards you. There's an anode and cathode here. Flip this baby on. Flip it around. I want a side of this bad boy. Okay, that LED is done. Let's clip those leads. And they go launching. Okay, so we have the capacitor and LED on. Very good. Okay, so now we want to do this tiny little cap. So this little tiny little guy is 104. I'm going to put him here. Bend these leads a little bit. We want to solder this. Okay, that cap is installed. So we have the electrolytic capacitor, which is 4.7 microfarads. And this is also polarity, so be very careful, okay? So the positive side is the long lead. The negative side is the short lead, okay? So make sure you put that in properly. So the line on the cap, okay, the line right there. See that line right there? That line is the negative, and you want to make sure that it follows this. Pop that right in there like so. Flip it around and side of this bad boy. Okay, that's done. Clip those leads. We have one more cap here. This big lollipop one, right? It looks funky looking. It's like a yellow one. And that baby goes right here. Flip that baby over. Be very careful of the ICs that are here. God forbid that gets touched. Okay, so we want to take note of the resistors here. We have R8, which is 5100 ohms, or 5.1 K ohms, 30K, 10K, 680 ohms, 680 ohms. Notice there's no K next to it, so it's 680 ohms. Okay, and then all the way on this side here, these are 0 ohms. Okay, R7, R4, R5, and we should have another one floating around here somewhere. R0. You want to solder in resistor 9. Can't forget this one. So these are the R0 resistors. They got the black line down the middle. So R5, R4, and R7 all are 0 ohm resistors, okay? So we're going to pop these babies in right now. Get them out of the way. Okay, you do so now. So what we could do is we could put all the resistors in if we like. Okay, so we have these are in. So we're going to do the other ones next. So 5 point, where are we? So this is this color code here. This is the 5.1 K ohm resistor here. It should be, if I can read it right, red, brown, green. In there with the gold band. That is your 5100. Put that there. 5100. Okay, so these are your 600 ohm resistor. This is R3 and R6. Let's do them next. Now remember, we're not soldering yet. We're just putting them in the board. Okay, this is the 30K ohm resistor for R1. Let's throw that in R1 now. Okay, this is the 10K ohm resistor. Goes into R2. Let's do that now. Okay, so we should have all the resistors in the board. We could do the diode as well. So grab that diode. Now make sure that you notice that this is a glass diode. Okay, notice that right there. It's glass. You can see right through it. Okay. So, but also notice there's a black line on it. That's polarity. So it would be mounted like this on the board. Okay. So let's do that now. With the diode installed now. Perfect. So we got all the tiny little components, all the resistors and stuff like that all done. So let's solder them in. Spin this around. So better access to all the other locations. Now just be careful of the these ICs, okay? Now clip off all your leads. So now we want to do the power switch. Now take note of that little hole there, okay? That hole, little top, is the top and designates that. So it's very important that you put that little hole. So you want to flip it around like so and pop it right in like this. You want to make sure that it's correct. So you want to just install this like pretty much right away here. So what we could do is, to prevent it from falling out, we can bend one of the leads. Okay, this is a trick that we like to do. So we take one of these leads and just bend it carefully without. We could bend that one like that, and we could bend this one like that. And that prevents the part from coming out. Okay, now the switch is installed. Very difficult task to do. Make sure you have a really fine point soldering iron to get into that, because it's going to be very difficult to do. This is going to be the easiest part possible. Okay, so all on the top, now we're going to install all the switches for the piano. Everything on top here is red. Everything in the middle is black switches, and everything on the bottom is white. All right, so take note that the leads go on the side. So when you install the switch, make sure the leads don't go in this direction. They go this direction. And then push in so they snap into place. Like that. Then it'll be easy to solder. So red, black, white. Okay, install all your switches and we'll come back. When inserting the switches, be very careful because you can easily bend these babies. Just be very careful when you start inserting these. Make sure they're even and they'll snap right into place. This is the first black switches fully installed. Okay, all the red switches are done. Okay, all the white switches are in, black switches and red. So let's solder all this up. We are just about finished. This is looking really good. So this task is going to take some time. So let's fast forward. As you can see, all of the buttons are now installed, soldered and all. Now we're going to get to do the speaker and install the brackets for this. When you tighten this screw, be very careful that it doesn't short out this IC. Very important. When you install the speaker on the bottom, so when you mount the speaker like so, make sure that the terminals are in this direction here. This is where we want to connect them. We want to make sure that the wires can actually reach. It does get a little tricky because you're trying to hold it and tighten it at the same time. Okay, now the speaker is installed. Now we want to install the wires to the speaker. So that's what these two wires are for. We're going to solder them. We're going to solder it to here first and then to the speaker. So the best way that I want to do is I want to put solder on these pads first. It'll be a little easier to solder. Okay. So make sure you put the solder in this angle so we can mount it to the speaker. That's one. Two. Then you want to put solder on these speaker terminals like that. Bring this around, heat this up and pop it through. That's done there. Solder on this terminal. Do the same for this one. Done. So the battery will go right here. Got the battery terminals are here, and then the holder for it. So it'll go pretty much right here. And that's what these standoffs are for. You have these two plastic standoffs for to go underneath the battery chassis. We'll do that now. The instruction says to install the battery pack like this, but there's not enough wire to go to the terminals. So we're going to mount it like this, but if you mount it like this, the wires will go underneath it and you won't be able to solder it. So we must solder this first and then mount it to the board. So we want to put solder here first. That's the positive terminal. Then we want to do negative terminal. Let it flow. We're good. So let's solder the positive lead. And we want to put it in this direction because it's going to go underneath the device, underneath the battery pack. So there's a positive. Here's a negative. Okay. Then we can actually mount it like this. And we got to put those standoffs on. So this is going to be a kind of a tricky install because you're going to need to be able to push this through and then put the screws and nuts through that. So you're going to be using the tapered screws for this. Okay? Tapered screws. It's a little tricky because the buttons are in the way. Trying to finagle it in there. Once you get some threads on there on the nuts, then you can spin it over the opposite direction and then use the screwdriver to tighten them down. And then there's the pack is installed. This uses 3 AA batteries for the function of this. So almost done. Now we just got to put the standoffs on this so this stands like so. This is the hardware for that. So you want to put the screws, one screw there, one screw in this corner, one screw in this corner, and put the legs on it. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to use 3 rechargeable batteries for this test. Ready? Here we go. Ooh, power. All right, so we have piano, organ, violin, trumpet, mandolin, bell, music box, guitar, record, replay, OK, on, and stop. Then we have switch, bass drum, snare drum, pedal, cymbal, program, demo all, tempo, demo, tempo plus, tempo negative, volume up and volume down, and then these are the keys. So let's see. Piano, organ, violin, trumpet, mandolin, bell, music box, guitar. Can't imagine this. More like a sitar. And let's see with the drums real quick. Demo. Okay, that's interesting. That's pretty cool. It works. So let's see if we can record something. We'll hit plus record. Okay, let's hit replay. Interesting. So this can only record one note polyphony, but can play multi-note polyphony when you're playing. So guys, this thing is a pretty cool piano kit. It's definitely for the intermediate level electronic technician. Definitely not easy. It's definitely a little complicated. So you need to have some sort of basic knowledge of how to install certain components, but this is overall very cool. I'll have a link in the description below to purchase this and a discount code for this incredible piano kit. So guys, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Take care, and we'll see you next time.